Thank you.
They weren't.
Okay.
Well, let's find out.
Good evening.
Well, let's find out. Yeah.
It is 4:30
Should
and
have been
time
in the
for us to
agenda item, so-
begin.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we are very lucky to start this evening with Surfboard E. So I'll pass it off to our student board member. We love seeing so many students at our board meeting. This is great.
All right. Well, thank you very much, board, for the opportunity. My name is Brendan Wu. I'm the current student board member and chairman of Surfboard E. Today we have a very special presentation that we as a group have prepared, and really the students of FUSD have prepared, all 34,000 of them. Today we have in attendance many students from all of the main high schools in our district. So I would like to, first of all, give a round of applause to all of you for showing up. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to start out by giving a short overview of how this survey is structured, and then we'll get right into the data. The survey will start out by a general overview, showing some pie charts regarding the contribution from the different schools, as well as the different grade levels that took this survey. This survey by Surfboard E was distributed among 4th through 12th grade, but the data that will be presented today is from the 7th through the 12th grade, because this is regarding one of the issues that really all these students and parents and faculty here are here today to speak about, which is the movement of finals before winter break. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at the data. The first slide that we have here in front of you is regarding school distribution. And if you see on the pie chart on the right, we had many schools take this survey. And there are some schools that have the majority and some schools that have less numbers. But some notables to include are that Mission San Jose had the largest amount of contribution, with around 26.7% of the data for the survey out of the total 5,883 responses. Horner Junior High School had 16.5% of the data, which came in second. American High School had 15.3% of the data, which came in third. And finally, Kennedy High School had 9.8% of the data, which came in fourth. Other high schools, such as Irvington and Washington, actually had equivalent numbers of 8.1%. Moving on to the grade level distribution, we see that we are actually quite pleased as SURF to see these results. The reason being that if you look at it, it's quite well distributed. If it were to be distributed equally among the 6 different grades that are in this particular survey, it would be around 16.66% response rate from each class. We see that the numbers we got here are quite similar. The majority does come from the freshman class with 22.3%. The smallest number does come from the senior class of 10.6%. But it is helpful to note that the other classes do have significant amount of responses. And now we'd like to go to the last question in our survey. This survey was mainly a multiple choice survey. It had one section at the end, which was a free response section that really allowed for students to express anything that perhaps was not addressed in the survey. But this was the last question before that box. And we asked them the cumulative question: what is the most important student issue to students at their schools? The options that were provided were really the options that were question-based in the survey. We had school lunches, bathrooms, dress code, transportation and traffic, or winter break and finals. And what I like to point out is the big number in the purple slice of the pie graph, which is 46.3%. And that's saying that 46.3% of the students who took the survey selected that winter break and finals is the most important issue to them at their school. It is important to note that this is 2.5 times the amount of responses for bathrooms, which came in second place at 18.3%. Now, we asked them the question, breaking it down even more: would they like to have finals before or after winter break? Because as a board and really as a community, we're looking for solutions, or what are the specifics of this issue. And what we see here is we have a very clear majority. Around 77% of students who took the survey stated that they would like to have finals before winter break. And it is because of this number that Surfboard E as a group has decided to push for this as the number one issue that students feel should be changed regarding the school district and regarding student life. And it'd be interesting to see now, which we do have the data for, how this is on a school-by-school basis. Because I would like to point out once again, for example, with Mission San Jose High School having around 27% of the responses, did Mission San Jose High School's responses overweigh perhaps some of the other schools? And we are very proud to say that this is not the case. Through statistics and also through the pie graphs and charts that are presented here. At the top two, we have the Mission San Jose High School graphs. The bottom two, we have the American High School graphs. What we see here is that for both Mission and American High School, their number one issue was winter break and finals, as you can see in the bar charts. Their second closest issue was very, very far behind. And if you ask the students before or after winter break for finals, the large majority, both of them, Mission San Jose at 83% saying they would like to have finals before winter break, and American High School at 79% saying they would like to have it before winter break. At this point, I'd also like to throw in a little bit of statistics. My fellow AP statistics teacher at Mission San Jose High School, Dr. Fry, and I ran some statistics on the data also just to show that there was a very, very clear piece of evidence that there's not enough of a difference between Mission San Jose's data and any other school. We ran a hypo test on it and we failed to reject HO, which basically states that there's no significant difference in the data between Mission and the rest of the high schools. With that being said, we move on to the next two high schools in the survey, Kennedy High School and Irvington High School. These are important schools, one starting off with Kennedy because Kennedy is the only outlier out of all schools in the group that actually had bathrooms as their number one issue instead of winter break and finals. We do have a couple speakers from Kennedy who, one of them I know will be speaking on why they think this was the case. But if you do ask the students at Kennedy would they like to have finals before or after winter break, you see that they actually have one of the highest percentages saying before at 81%. With Irvington High School, we see similar trends with the rest of the schools, winter break and finals being the most important issue by a large majority compared to bathrooms. And if you ask before or after winter break, 84% stated that they would like to have finals before winter break. The last two schools that we'll be presenting the data for today are at the top, Washington High School, and then I threw in Horner Junior High School for a little comparison with the junior high school level. With Washington High School, again, the number one issue is winter break and finals, with 82.1% saying they would like to have finals before winter break. And interestingly enough, Horner Junior High School, which had, again, the second most amount of responses, is carrying the same trends as our high schools. We see that winter break and finals is the most important issue for students at Horner, and 69% of students said they would like to have their finals before winter break. With that, we look at the data and we look at a lot of the specifics. And to us as a board, Surfboard E, it seems quite clear that the overwhelming majority of students in this district would like to see finals move before winter break. Now, we do understand that this is an incredibly complex issue, and by no means is it a new issue. Yet this is the first time in the history of the board that the student board, Surfboard E, has brought up this issue for the board to discuss. We do understand that this would most likely entail a shift of the entire school year forward so that the school year would start earlier and end earlier like many other models of neighboring districts, and that this is a FUD to vote. It's voted on by the teachers and the faculty, and that FUD has already voted on the 2017-2018 calendar. But really, that's not the purpose of today's presentation. The way that I see it and the way that the board sees it is that we're here to get the conversation started. We're here to get the ball rolling on what we see as an important issue, not only for students in this generation, but for the generations to come. And that's really the point of this presentation today, and really the point of why we have so many dedicated speakers that are willing to speak on the topic following the end of this presentation. Steps moving forward, we know that we have to reach out to the community, number one, but to staff as well. We have made many presentations to parents, staff, and faculty at the multiple high school sites. And our next steps are reaching out to the elementary school teachers, who we understand are voting members as well as educating parents and even students about these issues. Because what we see this as is an issue of education regarding the problems that a lot of students are going through with the schedule, and we definitely think that through hard work we can start to get the issue moving. With that, that concludes my presentation, and I will be open to questions, I think, during the board discussion portion of it, but thank you very much.
I compliment you in the number of responses that you've gotten and the advocacy of the students. It's really impressive to have everyone behind this, so congratulations on that. Ms. Coco, speakers.
Yes, we have 16 speakers.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
A majority of them are students, yes.
So if we go ahead and have 3 minutes each, it will make us late for closed session, correct? So,
They were, he
kinda
indicated
where I
that there was they had 1 minute to speak.
so that's what they were
we're-
anticipating.
I think we're good. So 1 minute.
Guys are awesome.
Yep.
Because we were up here going, oh, we don't want to cut them
No.
off. Okay, awesome.
We wouldn't do
Then
that.
That'll be perfect. So, Ms. Coco.
Okay, Sai Kumar, Brajesh Jain, Raymond Liu, or Lynn, I'm not sure, Anna Reed, Ashley Liu, and Palace Chow.
I will let you know about our light system. Green means go, yellow means you're coming to the end of your time, and when the red light turns on, if you would please stop, and if you could please start by introducing who you are. Thank you. Yep. On the actual podium itself, you'll see a little light system.
All right. Can I start now?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Sai Kumar. I teach 10th through 12th grade chemistry at Mission San Jose High School. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm here to share my experience with regards to ending semester 1 before the winter break. I found the results to be overwhelmingly positive for both students as well as for me as an educator. I felt that quantitatively speaking, students did much better in tests that was given before the winter break than after the winter break because of loss of momentum. And I had enough time to cover second semester material, and I had enough time overall to cover overall content before the CAST test for the NGSS students and before the AP exam for the AP chemistry students. Most importantly, it was very beneficial for students because they had a guilt-free vacation without having to study ahead of time. Yeah, thank you. 1 second, okay.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kumar. When your name's called, don't worry too much about being in a particular order. You're welcome to come up in any order. Welcome.
Do I start? Yes. Okay. Hi, I'm Brajesh Jain. I'm a parent of Mission San Jose High School. I have a sophomore in the school. And I fully support what Brandon actually brought up over here. He has presented us before. And I think if we relate this to stress, the students are, and our school actually conducted a Stanford survey. And one of the major areas is that has a lot of stress in the kids and if we just look at ourselves in general, you'd go through exercise, you do a lot of intense work, 16-hour, 18-hour days. And if you keep continuing doing that, you actually have a lot more fatigue and a lot more stress. If there is a downtime, there's a time to relax and refresh yourself, that whole thing gets much better. You actually become stronger. So I think that's the same analogy out there. If you get a proper break in comparison to all other districts, we are the only one who are not doing this. So it would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Raymond. I'm from Mission San Jose High School. I know Ms. Kumar and Mr. Jain have talked a little bit about the parent and the teacher perspectives on the issue, but I just want to bring just one of the multifaceted student perspectives that kind of pushes for this change. So it starts off with an anecdote of me kind of wanting to, finish things before winter break kind of got started, and I got done with a lot of my projects and studying. So I kind of wanted to hang out with a lot of my friends. So I asked my friends, I would say, hey, Josh, or, hey, Kevin, do you want to go hang out? And, I'd get the same response every single time, which is, sorry, I'm studying for finals, or I'm working on my semester project. And, a lot of the times I think that those friendships that you kind of make during the times where, you have time available to kind of hang out with friends, those are the experiences that really enrich the high school experience. And although it might not seem like a big deal in the greater scheme of things, I think that it's a really big loss to not only the students at Mission San Jose, but also to the other high schools as well, that just because of a schedule change, we're losing out on a lot of these experiences. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Ashley Liu, and I'm currently a sophomore at American High School. I believe that winter break is a time for students to distress. This is a time that students can spend pursuing their hobbies, traveling, and being with their families. Students should by no means be obligated to study, but because of the schedule that we have here in FUSD, many students, including myself, are going into break terrified because of the 6 different finals that we know await us when we get back from break. And what scares me is that moving into my junior and senior year, I know that these tests are only going to get harder, and these finals are only going to get, it's going to just stress me out even more. And so I know that I am not the only student that feels this way, nor am I the only student that cares about my well-being during this break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna Reed. I'm a Spanish teacher at American High School, and instead of saying what we're going to hear, I wanted to point out something else. I actually taught at a school district that went through the transition. We had the January, we switched. And I would like to tell you what I did see when we did that. I saw students actually at school before winter break. It's one of the things I see now is that vacations are planned and they leave early and things like that. Now at finals before winter break, parents had to now think, oh, my kids have to be at taking their finals beforehand. It's great for the students. It was positive. It was a natural break. You start a new actual physical year with a new semester. It's just something that seems natural, and January just has never felt like a natural thing for me. So it's positive for school enrollment. It's positive for students showing up to school. It's positive because students are not all completely, yeah, it's positive.
Exactly. Hi.
So hi, my name is Palace Chow, and I'm a sophomore at American High. And first of all, I wanted to note that American High is super notorious for not having enough bathrooms. And so the fact that we believe, like my peers and I believe, that finals should be, before winter break, should be prioritized over having bathrooms, that just speaks volumes in terms of how much that means to us. Also, since I'm a sophomore, when I talk to seniors, they always talk about how stressed they are about college apps. And I think that talking to them, I've come to realize that if we have the calendar shift forward, they have an additional 3 weeks to talk to counselors. They have an additional 3 weeks to get recommendations from counselors. And overall, both the counselors and the students won't be as stressed about college apps and college app season. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chow.
Jerry Gonzalez, Michael Tagami, Jacob Solis, Bianca Wu, Hamza, Ayush Patel,
Hi. So my name is Gerardo Gonzalez. I'm a sophomore at John F. Kennedy High School, and I want to thank you all for allowing me the chance to speak today. Brendan has given me the opportunity to speak about Kennedy being an outlier for finals before winter break. So for the responses of our survey, the majority of Kennedy students wish to have cleaner and better equipped bathrooms instead of moving finals before winter break. While this may seem contradictory to our premise, it's not entirely unreasonable. I've already began the process of taking our data to our administrators and talking about fixing our bathrooms for the students. This does not mean that Kennedy does not want finals moved before winter break. The population of John F. Kennedy High School is around 1,400 students. When you think about the reasons why we want finals moved before winter break, the primary reason would be more time for AP testing. And with a school for only 1,400 kids, a smaller proportion of them will be taking these AP classes. So there'd be less advocacy for finals before winter break. But I want to reiterate, we do want finals before winter break. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
My name is Mikhail Tagami. I'm a AP Chemistry and Chemistry teacher at Kennedy High School. Even though it doesn't look like I'm a teacher, I just came from dance tryouts. But what it should be understood is I'm speaking on behalf of the students, particularly for the AP Chemistry students. We come from a little different perspective because of the fact that we are on a block schedule, which means that we actually do everything in one term is 1 year equivalent. I think maybe that might have had something to do with the survey results. The second thing is for the AP Chemistry students, as the one student before me pointed out, it is kind of a bind to have finals after the winter break because, one, the stress levels. I received over 32 emails over winter break with kids with questions in order to prepare for their exam. And they did the little emoji crying, sad face, whatever, afterwards. And then also, given the fact that, just need to say this, yeah, they don't have enough time to study.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the board. My name is Jacob Sluice, and I'm currently a sophomore at John F. Kennedy High School. I attended Blake Elementary as part of the dual immersion program from kindergarten to 6th grade. Having been in the program and having a mother who is a bilingual paraprofessional working in the ELD program, I have personal experience with many ELD students, know their stories, and have had a glimpse of their point of view. One of the biggest problems they face is that the opportunities for them to speak English outside of school are limited, as their primary language at home is not English. Having winter break before their final is inhibiting to them because they'll have spent the extended period of 2 weeks without practicing their English, only to be tested on it when they come back to school. The success of the students is limited when they have to come back to school and take a final on a subject they haven't had the opportunity to practice. This problem can be resolved by moving finals from after winter break to before winter break. This will improve the education and success of the students as well as the jobs of the teachers teaching them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sluice.
Hi, my name is Bianca Wu, and I attend at Irvington High School. So some summer programs start in the middle of May, and last year I tried applying for a business program, and one of the sectors of the program was at Duke University. So at the time, my sister attended Duke University. Like, it would have been really convenient because I could live with her. Like, I wouldn't have to pay housing fees. But since the program started on like May 26th, I still had school, so I couldn't attend the program, let alone apply to the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wu.
Hi, I'm Hamza, a senior at Irvington High School. Many other schools have from August to May to prepare for their AP tests and their AP curriculum, while we have from September to May, so 1 whole month less to fit the same curriculum. This manifested itself in my AP physics class, where we spent 2.5 weeks on circuitry and electromagnetism. Yeah, I still don't get it. I didn't take the AP test. Thank you. Yeah. So there's a drastic loss of productivity after May, in addition, just because AP classes don't have much more to teach. I don't blame the teachers. Dr. Kumar is one of the best people I've ever met. I think the system should be amended because it will help AP students, and at the very least, it won't harm non-AP students. I definitely think we should amend the year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ayush Patel, and I'm a junior at Irvington High School. So 1 year ago, Dr. Stuart Slavin surveyed Irvington students and found unprecedented results. He found that 80% of students suffered moderate to severe symptoms of anxiety. Tonight, I asked the board to consider this for a moment. 80%. Having finals before break would not get rid of this alarming statistic, but it would pave a path to greatly reducing this number. In our 2-week break, students are supposed to enjoy Christmas and New Year's with their friends and family, but instead we have to worry about how we're going to end the semester. Take it from me, I almost bailed out of a family vacation to San Diego because I had AP finals to study for. I ended up going, but throughout the trip, I had all the work I needed to do in the back of my mind, knowing that I would have to end up doing it at home right before school came back to session. With an actual 2-week break, students can completely enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Honorkamp, Megan Friedenberg, Pura Imad Dadin, and Sharia Westra.
Whoever would like to come up, you don't need to be in order, so thank you.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this afternoon. I'm John Honorkamp. I've taught resource and SDC at both American and now at Washington High School. I currently am department chair of special education at Washington. And I guess I'll start by saying I'd really like you to give due consideration to this initiative because it really is coming from the students. As you can see, students are really involved, and it seems to be, based on this extensive data, a primary concern of students. So please give it consideration. But I'm here to speak to you about my experience as a teacher of students with special needs. In my experience, I really struggle with students having to prepare themselves for finals the third week of January. My students, as a rule, really struggle with retention, and so they have a very hard time preparing following the December break. And so not only two different things, and I'll end there. Number one, I think they struggle and they do poor on their finals. Number two, January ends up being wasted time because we're reteaching skills and content. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Megan Friedenberg, and I am a sophomore at Washington High School. I'm here to talk to you why, from a student's perspective, having finals before winter break is optimal for my education. I am a part of a private band named Tri-City Band Corps. The band is run by Harrison Chang, and he's also Mission's music director. A multitude of Mission, Irvington, and American students participate in the band, as well as some from Kennedy and Washington, like myself. This winter, TBC is having its second annual international trip. We are going to be touring Italy. In order to attend this trip, as being in Italy for the whole 2 weeks is costly, I have worked multiple jobs and have saved almost all of the money I've made for almost 2 years now in order to attend this trip. And you're telling me that I have to study for my APUSH final almost the entire time I'm there? I am a student who takes all honors and all AP classes. I'm hardly going to be able to enjoy any time I am there. I understand if this change going through does not affect next year, but incoming years. I do not want any students after me to not have the best time they can possibly have from stressing out from finals, as TBC does these international trips annually. This is why finals should be pushed before winter break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Humay Madadine, and I'm a parent at Washington. And I just want to say that it's very difficult to arrange family trips or vacation time during Christmas time. When you know your son or daughter is basically stressing that they have to study over that time and they can't go anywhere and they can't do anything with their friends or family. We have a lot of family in the Bay Area, and coordinating schedules is difficult through the school year, and sometimes the break time is the only time we have. And when you know that your kid has to study, then you can't enjoy that time. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are we missing someone, Ms. Coco?
Sharia Westra.
Oh.
That's okay.
Oh, just Sharia Westra. She was so enthralled.
How much time am I giving?
I only get a minute, darn it. I'm Sharia Westra, president of the Fremont Unified District Teachers Association, and I just wanted to come to say finally you come. I have been waiting for this since 2008. No joke. Since 2008, a teacher who's no longer here from American High School stood up at one of our union meetings when Jeff Bowe was president and has been saying this since 2008. So I only have a month left in this job, so I can kind of say what I really feel. I am so glad you're finally here. So we've been discussing this in FUTA, our union, since then. And it gets shot down because there's just not enough understanding of the issue, and not saying I can magically make everybody agree with all of you. But there is a good group of folks out there who do agree, but it takes educating. Since I've been the president, actually, let me go backwards. Laura York, who was a trustee on here in about, you know what I'm saying, Crosby, in about 2012, she and I debated this issue. And I said, you don't have to debate with me. I'm just telling you the other angle, the devil's advocate side of it. Well, I know how I feel. I don't care. I work all the time. So it doesn't matter to me when I have to work. I'm just going to be working. So it's been happening for a while. We've negotiated twice calendar since I've been the FEDTA president. So let me tell you how it works. We survey our members. Some of you are here. You're all welcome to come to Rep Council and tell your colleagues how you feel. We've only had one speak up from Mission High at our last time we did this to educate folks, and a lot of the elementary folks in the room were like, oh, I wish I would have known about this. It takes educating, and it comes better from the high school folks because you live and breathe this. So if you're in the FEDTA bargaining unit and you're here, you're welcome to start attending Rep Council anytime. And so what we have done, and I let Brendan know this, when I had that meeting, I said, by the time I'm done being president, we're going to start a task force. And so actually Miley, who's here, yay Miley, she is chairing our FEDTA task force to look at calendar so that when negotiations come, people will have a little more education. We're going to start with looking at all the different districts, which I've already done multiple years and have full file folders on all those schedules. So there's a lot of information we'll get, but it's going to start educating our own members. And I promise you, since I will still be in the FEDTA bargaining unit as an elementary teacher, I will work on educating my colleagues at the elementary level. I think it's great you're here, and you should be commended for doing this. Hats off to you, Mr. Surfman. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to bring it back to the board. Is there anything else you want to add, Mr. Brandon?
Well, I'd first like to start out by thanking everyone for showing up today. It's been a very, very long journey this year. I know all of us have put in countless hours, not only to talking to our fellow peers, but also to the our fellow community members about this issue. And it's certainly something that we are very passionate about. It's certainly something that we really want to see happen, not again for us, but for the people coming to our district and for the younger generations to come. And with that, I think it was made clear today that among these students, among the staff and the community as well, they really are behind this effort of not only moving finals before winter break, but perhaps moving the schedule forward, because this really keeps the students in mind, and it really helps to initiate what the district believes in our motto. So I'd like to thank you all once again for showing up, and we really hope to get this conversation once again started. Thank you.
Mr. Sweeney, I have you in line.
No, in the interest of time, I really appreciate everybody who has shared their opinions, and it's all been fact-based, data-driven, which is always appreciated. And I'll defer the floor to my fellow board members.
Ditto. Thank you for this. This is the second time I saw this, and as usual, you did an outstanding job. Thank you to all of the parents and students that came to voice your opinions, and I'm sure we will be taking this into consideration moving forward. Thank you very much.
Dr. Shaw.
I also would like to appreciate the joint efforts from the Surfboard Council, as well as the administrators. I noticed that Mr. Larson and Ms. Kim are present. Thank you so much for your support for the whole survey and the presentation. Actually, I hate to put both of you on the spot, but from the administrator's point of view, what are the pros and cons for moving the finals before the winter break?
Come to a mic. No pressure. Just speak for everyone at every site.
Just 30 seconds on here. I do, from an administrative standpoint, and from I've been at the elementary and also the high school levels, I can really see a lot of strong benefits for students ending their finals before winter break. We just have to, the adults in the room have to remember when you think back to college and when you finished that last final and you were on your way home or wherever you were going for your break, it was a true break. You could read what you wanted, you could watch the TV you wanted, and you didn't have to study that college material. So after working for 10 years with high school students, I think that this would be a nice step for them and a healthy direction for our district.
Annette? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I don't think I could say anything more or more articulately than our students did this evening. I think they did an incredible job of really coming from the student's perspective based on data, information, what's best for students. So,
thank you.
I both support everything Mr. Larson said, as well as all of the wonderful comments that the students have made. I can tell you from a parent's perspective that that time is sacred that we have with our students, where they're not distracted by so many other things, that I can spend genuine time with them. So when I think about those breaks, that's when my daughter comes home from college to see me, and I would love for my students to have that opportunity with their family too during break. So I would support it in addition to all of the other reasons for that reason.
Thank you.
Hi, Gina Nightingale, Assistant Principal at Mission San Jose High School. I too support all of our students and our parents and our teachers and our administration that came out and spoke. As a former counselor in the district, I think it's really important to consider when AP tests are and when we are starting school. Just to reiterate, our students are getting 3 weeks less instruction time to prepare for those AP exams. Also, as a former counselor for all ELD students, it's very difficult for our EL students to be taking off 14 days and then expected to be tested 3 weeks later. And I would reiterate that along with our special education population as well. So I just really hope that you take into consideration everything that's been said today and hear the voice of our students, and just thank you for all of your support and listening to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, AP Nightingale and Principal Sarah. I didn't see you in the crowd. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all. I will just say that we have a lot of people come and speak to us, and you have managed to organize your speaking and make different points, all of them very persuasive. So it will be something for the board to look at moving forward, as Brandon mentioned at the beginning. As far as changing the entire calendar, that's something that goes into bargaining. However, there may be some flexibility at the school sites. That I know that was brought up at an earlier meeting. So it's definitely going to be a topic of conversation. Thank you all so very much for being here, and come see us anytime. Just let us know what's going on, and we'll be looking at that Kennedy bathroom thing. We probably need to look into that. Thank you. And with that, we'll go to the agenda. Our next item. Does anyone have any?
I was just going to move to approve the agenda item.
Anything that they would like to have pulled, moved, changed?
Is there a second?
I would like to second.
Okay, prepared to vote?
It's open for your vote.
You did a great.
And the motion carries unanimously with 5 ayes and student member Wu voting aye as well.
Do we have any speakers for close?
Sharia Westra.
Excuse me. We should be having like a full-on conversation.
We would just I was just trying to do a point of clarity for the board trustee that if there was an item that needed to be pulled, do we need to do that now, or do we do it when it comes to consent?
If you want to pull something from the consent calendar, it's easier for Ms. Coco to organize it to do it now. You could do it after, but it's easier if we do it before. Is there something you'd like to have pulled?
That was my understanding. 13,
Sorry, one moment.
Excuse me?
One
I
moment.
believe it's,
What's the item? What is it called?
Notice for classified instruction.
Right.
That is part of it, so yes, I would like to pull 13.2 for the end of the
13.2.
agenda. I apologize and thank you very much for my fellow trustees for picking that up.
Okay, so let me go back. Let me find it. No, cancel. Yes, no.
So do you have to do a different motion and then a revote?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
for,
hold on, let me go back there.
right, while you're doing that, I just point out, so
I'm
if you
gonna
want to
add
have.
a motion.
Add a motion?
Yeah, I'm adding a motion
okay.
to that particular item because you already voted on it.
Okay.
So now this will be what's considered the final resolution, hopefully. It'll come up that way here.
Okay.
So-
So if somebody wants to have something actually pulled from the calendar to do it as the agenda's being approved?
Correct.
And, I mean, pulled from consent?
Yes.
If you just want to make a comment on it, that can be noted afterwards.
I would like to pull 13.2 and place it at the end of the regular agenda.
I second.
Okay, it is open again for your vote. And the motion carries with 5 ayes to pull item 13.2 and place it at the end of the agenda with student member Wu voting aye as well.
Thank you, Ms. Coco. Now we can move to our comments on closed. Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
My name is Teresa Harris, and I am an SDC teacher at Warwick. I teach 1st and 2nd grade, and I'm going to read you guys a short story. It's called Because I Had a Teacher. Because I had a teacher, I loved to learn. I discovered that I can do much more than I thought I could. I realized it's okay when some things are harder than others. I found that challenges can be fun. Because I had a teacher, I discovered that there are lots of ways of being smart. And I know that mistakes are just part of getting something right. I realized that some of the hardest things for me to do make me feel the proudest. Because I had a teacher, I know how good it feels when someone is happy to see me. I know that I can always ask for help. I feel like I have a friend on my side. I see that some of the most important things are said without words. Because I had a teacher, I have a whole new world to explore.
Because Fremont Unified has teachers, counselors, credentialed librarians, nurses, prep specialists, program specialists, psychologists, resource specialists, speech language pathologists, and other staff, students are inspired, supported, and encouraged to reach their potential here. Students across Fremont are served by educators that FEDTA proudly represents. Educators that are constantly changing their practice, whether it's because of their belief in growing as a professional, new standards, new laws, or even new board policies that are implemented. Every year, the educators here face that change, work through the bumps along the path, and continually work to serve the students here. They celebrate their successes, reflect on what could be improved, and keep marching on to make teaching and learning powerful and innovative. As I head back to the classroom, I am seeing very quickly how much that change has happened over the last 4 years. Common Core standards, Next Generation Science standards, the Fair Education Act, Restorative Practices, PLCs, MTSS, social emotional needs of students, PE instructional minutes of 200 every 2 weeks, students with special needs that have increased, and we are seeing far more complex student needs than ever before, and so much more. I can't tell you how excited I am to return to the classroom, but seeing all that I have to relearn reaffirms my belief that teaching is one of the most challenging yet most rewarding careers one can hold. And that's why here in Fremont, we need to do everything we can to attract and retain the best and brightest educators in our district. The challenges we face are rising costs of living here in the Bay Area, increased costs to healthcare, and commutes that are getting longer and longer each year. So what is happening? Teachers are leaving. Experienced teachers are leaving not to retire. I mean, some are, obviously, but many are to go closer to home, to go places where there is healthcare provided. And don't get me wrong, I'm very realistic. I know healthcare, why it happened, I know where we are with it, but this is a reality. People are leaving because of the high costs. We are providing wonderful professional growth opportunities here in Fremont through programs like Induction, PAR, Professional Learning Communities, and Professional Development through C&I department. But then we're seeing educators get all that wonderful knowledge that we're providing and leaving. As we head into negotiations, I know the May revise is better than the January budget because I was in Sacramento last week lobbying for a day with our local legislators. I have received many updates from the California Teachers Association about it. I am very realistic though. I know that it is not like 4 years ago when we got all that money right away and that the local control funding formula is hitting the ceiling. That nice bar graph that Mr. Parangao has for later tonight, I'm sure. I know that higher pension contributions are a reality that we are all facing, you a lot over the next few years, and that you've been lobbying in Sacramento on that very topic, because I heard a lot about that last week. But I know that educators are leaving. I've looked at the board packets for the last few board meetings. I'm noticing the list of resignations is longer. And with the teacher shortage, I am very concerned about who we're going to attract here. So as we head into negotiations and you go into closed sessions, I hope you will take those words and remember how impactful the educators here in Fremont and across the state and nation are to our students and our families. And I have a few postcards for each of you from some of our FEDTA unit members to remind you of that as you make some decisions for June 1st negotiations. Thank you and have a great closed session.
Thank you, Ms. Westra. And with that, we will go ahead and retire to closed session. If you are prepared to give your ballot to Ms. Coco beforehand, please do so, or you can always pull it back if during discussion you would like to.